First lesson I'm going to do with you, and I think it's probably one of the most important things and it's normally overlooked, is how to hold the guitar. Whether you're sitting down or standing up, it's not important. You play the guitar with both of your hands, and the right hand is used to generate the noise. That's the one used to flick or strum the strings. Okay. First thing I want you to think about is when you are flicking a string, you don't want you to move too much. It's important you just keep a nice little movement, just a flick of the wrist really. You don't want to be bringing your hand all the way out here and back in, so it's obviously going to take more time to get from here back into here. Just keep your movement nice and shallow, and don't want you to move too much. Okay, and your hand should just sort of hang over the guitar and rest on, the plectrum should be resting on a string, or your thumb should be resting on a string. Some people use your thumb or their fingers, some people use a plectrum. I tend to use a mixture of both. It's not really that important, it's just down to personal preference. Second hand is the left hand, and it's a bit more important. The first thing I want you to think about with your left hand is most people tend to try and play the guitar with a straight wrist. Okay, if you can just have a look at my hand here, my wrist straight there. If you can see between my fingers and the fingerboard where you play the notes, there's quite a big space in there. My wrist straight. If you look when I bend my wrist, there's hardly any space in between my fingers and the fingerboard, and that's what we want, because if your fingers are close to the fingerboard, it's going to be less distance for you to travel to play the note, therefore you're going to be able to do it quicker. If you're having to move from here and in, back out, in, out, it's going to take you a lot longer, whereas if your wrist's bent, then your fingers can be nice and close to the guitar and it's nice and efficient, there's not too much movement. When we're playing the guitar, we talk about economy of movement. That's really important. You don't want to be moving more than you need to. That's the best way to get fast at the guitar, by reducing your movement to an absolute minimum. Okay, so that's the main thing, is I want you to keep your wrist bent. When I start teaching somebody who's been learning before, that tends to be the first thing I find wrong with their technique, if you like. It's that their wrist's straight, therefore their fingers are further away, so they struggle to become fluent. Okay, so I really want you to think about that. It's really, really important, and the same principle applies with less movement. With the right hand means you can do things quicker. Okay, that's that lesson.